It'd be the same concept. You just want to bring it in, any kind of bird. A lot of it depends on whether the bird is wild or tame. If the bird is wild, you would bring it in, and it would probably take a lot longer for the bird to get used to you. I would leave the bird alone for at least a couple of days. Talking to it, of course, just not, don't put your hand in there. Don't try to do anything to it because it's just going to get freaked out. If it's a tame bird that requires attention, it needs attention. It's going to take a week or so for it to adjust, but it's going to need attention right off because it requires that attention. If you take a bird that is hand-fed and hand-raised, and any bird in this room, and put it in a cage and never got it out again, it would eventually for one, go wild. It would also probably pluck its feathers out and kill itself. So, it's that's another thing that's different about having a dog opposed to a bird. You can really damage your pet if you're not taking care of it. When you bring your new bird home, you want to quarantine the bird. If you have other birds, you want to put the bird in a spot that is not near your other birds. That, if at all, the best case is your ventilation. Cut the ventilation off. So if it's airborne disease, which most likely it will be, it will filtrate through your system in your house and will end up getting in the room as well. If you handle that bird and then go to your other birds, wash your hands. The best thing would be to change your clothes if you really want to be, very, very serious about it. If you have birds for 20, 30 years, you bring in a bird and all of a sudden they're all dead. It's definitely a risk to take that you don't deal with dogs and cats. So the quarantine process could be at least 2 months, and then you can introduce it to your other flock, which you can just put the bird in the room, and they'll eventually get used to it. So definitely with training a parrot, they are creatures of habit. They're compared to 3-year-old children very often that never grow out of being a 3-year-old. They need structure. They need consistency. That's the best way to. They need a bedtime. That bedtime is the same bedtime every night. They need at least 12 hours of sleep. If they're not getting the right kind of food, if those things aren't in place, there's no training that will help you. They have to get sleep. They have to be on a good diet. After that is in place, then positive reinforcement. Good boy. Oh, good boy. If the bird doesn't want to, birds are moody. If they don't want to be messed with, leave them alone. Don't force the bird to do what it doesn't want to do. Any training is just consistency, no fast movements, patience definitely, and positive reinforcement. They will learn a bad habit or behavior very quickly. So, like yelling and screaming. All birds scream. So the bigger they are, the louder they scream. And if the bird screams and you come in and say stop screaming, that's what the bird wanted. It wanted you to come in that room, so it will know when I scream, you're going to come in and give me the attention that I want. If you yell back at the bird, it's going to love it. It's going to yell louder. It wants to yell. So yelling at a bird is definitely not going to fix the yelling. Just leave the room.